we're gonna start a little tour of our old Aberdeen campus with the King's College building, which you probably know quite well from, if you've seen any marketing materials of University of Aberdeen, you've seen this building. It is the oldest part of the campus. It dates back to our founding in 1495, and we actually started building with the chapel, which is on the side. The chapel is a working chapel, so you can attend weddings there. If you're lucky enough, you can attend services. There are concerts, choir concerts, all of that. Attached to that is an actual teaching building, which is really fun if you are into historical sort of, Harry Potter feeling. So King's College, it does not contain any specific sort of subjects, which is what you might see some of our other buildings have. Instead, it is more of a multi-purpose building where you will have your lectures, you might have your tutorials, especially in the first couple of years, you might find yourself around here quite a lot. We have some new lecture theatres around here. We also have smaller rooms if you are attending a seminar and you are doing a discussion with a smaller group of people, especially for humanities and arts subjects. You are going to be here a lot. So what we're in right now is King's Quad. King's Quad is where a lot of legends are based around campus. So one of the main ones is that if you step on the grass here, the legend is that you're not going to graduate. I did not find out about that until my third year, and I still graduated, so I don't know how true it actually is. However, just for the sake of it, I'm not going to step on the grass, and you just avoid it if you can. But I'm sure it's going to be fine regardless if you've already done it. So behind me here is our sort of conference center. So if you ever join a society and the society organizes a speaker to come in and give a talk, give a lecture, or you attend a Senate meeting, or you are attending an open day for the exchanges going abroad, for example, or you go into a graduate fair, that might be here. And you will notice we have two statues here, one of the English lion and one of the Scottish national animal of a unicorn. So if you're not from Scotland or you did not know that we have a national animal that does not actually exist, well, here you go. And it's on campus as well. So make sure if you're visiting campus at some point this week or next week or whenever, stop by the unicorn and find out all about, the legendary stuff we have here on campus. We are now going to walk through this area. So this is the chapel. As I mentioned before, it is a working chapel, so you might find yourself around here on like a Tuesday, Wednesday evening. They might have actual choir practices here. And you will hear really, really amazing music just around the campus. It is lovely. So make sure to visit. You can also go inside, and there's plenty of legends. If you are into historical facts and all of that, make sure to speak to the people who work in the chapel. They will be able to give you lots of great tips and the legends about missing bodies and people who were supposed to be buried there and they're not, and we don't know where they are. So check that out. So we are now located at the Elphinston Lawn, where during the sort of summer season, during term time mostly, because we're currently during the summer, so not many students are here, but you will find people just hanging out, having a good time. You will also, during open day, if you've ever attended an open day or you're coming on the 30th of August this year, you will find us based here, and also in Elphinston Hall, which is where you might be taking your exams. It is just a lovely, lovely big hall, but you have to take exams in it, which is a little bit of a disadvantage, but it just seeps history. It's lovely. There's no teaching that's done in this building, in these arches, because it's mostly for meetings and events. Sometimes you will have other events like, for example, I mentioned the Go Abroad Fair. So if you want to do a semester abroad or a year abroad, you might find yourself here during your first year attending a fair. Right, we're going to move on to buildings that are actually a bit more based around teaching and a bit more subject-based as well. So when I say, a subject is based here, it's not necessarily that you as a politics student will only ever be in this building. However, this means that your lecturers will have their office here, and they will, if you have to attend any sort of meetings about your dissertation, or you want to chat with them about your career prospects, anything like that, you will come to them in that building. You will also turn in your physical copy of your work in that building, but overall we're all mixed in everywhere. There's no specific building that is only your building. You'll have to go into every single building over the years as you are studying here. So we're going to snake through our campus because it's so old. It has a lot of little paths and a lot of little ways where you can walk around, and you will find that it is super confusing the first few weeks or months, but don't worry, everybody is in the same boat. We all struggled at first, so during your freshers week and welcome week, feel free to stop people who look like they know where they're going and just ask them and see where is this building? For example, if you're looking for the old brewery, which is an actual building on campus, and I believe that it is the philosophy and English department, you know, that might be a struggle to find. So let's just ask somebody. Everybody will have gone through the same thing, so just ask. We're all very friendly. This is an area where also a lot of people hang out. You have an actual art on campus as well. So, for example, here's a little armadillo artwork. Around us, all around us, is the law department. So we have 4 libraries at the University of Aberdeen in total. 3 of them are on this main campus, but we also have a medical campus, which is based at the Aberdeen Royal Infirmary. On this campus, 3 libraries, like I said. One of them is the law library, which is just based around here. There's sort of 2 floors of narrower windows. It is mostly useful for law students, obviously, but also if you're somebody who prefers sort of quieter, warmer, darker space, this is definitely the library for you. So anybody can use it. It's just that it contains texts only for law students. But if you're studying history, if you're studying engineering, business, there might be times when you're doing interdisciplinary work and you actually might find yourself needing to use law texts anyway. So it's always good to know where that is. The second library that we actually walked past already and I did not point out is the Divinity Library, which is just where we started in the college, King's College building. So that one is a bit of a secret library. I've never been in personally because that one is only for Divinity students. So it's somewhere around there, but it's a bit of a mystery where it actually is. To me anyway, I've never been in. But the library is open to everybody, and we're going to finish at the main library, which is probably what you're going to be using the most unless you are a medical student or a law student. So yeah, the law department is huge, so they've got a very, very large building. You, of course, if you are interested in something that is not actually your main subject area, you will get the chance to try it as well. It depends exactly on what program you're interested in. But if you are doing anything from engineering to history to primary education, you will be able to take subjects even from outside your degree. So it's good to know where all of these buildings are, because you might just end up taking a subject from law, even though you're doing engineering, just because you're interested. It is something that the Scottish system is really good at, giving you options. Right, we're gonna base ourselves around here for a little bit while I tell you about the heart of the campus, which is our High Street. So the High Street, let's do a spin around to show you where we started. So we started just, if you can see, if we don't get run over by a car, if you can see sort of where, as far as you can see, that's the start of the campus. That's where we started our tour. You have a street that's a cobblestone street, full of little businesses. They're independent businesses, and everybody swears by Kilo Coffee, which is the purple one over here, as having the best coffee in Aberdeen. You have your bakery behind me, which is where you can get your macaroni pies. Very important to know where you can get that. You can also get sandwiches and soup. If we then look, sorry. It sometimes does get quite busy here, so you have to be careful when you're on High Street and not get run over by a bus, but at least that's getting further away now. So if you can see the red lights behind us there, that's pretty much the end of campus. So the campus is quite contained. It is all in one place. Unlike other campuses that you might know from other bigger cities in Scotland, we are sort of all together, all in one. You can get to lectures from one end to the other end within 5 to 10 minutes. So it is really convenient that everything is so together. You do not have to take the bus to get between classes. You just walk. So that's the end of the campus there. If you can see, there's a building to the right of the red lights, which is the old town hall. That's what it's called. It used to be a town hall, which is why it's called that. And Old Aberdeen is where Aberdeen city sort of started. So the government used to be contained in just that tiny little building. Now it is the King's Museum. So if you want to visit a museum when you're visiting campus here, definitely have a look around. There are a lot of museums you can stop by. I also hear a rumor that it used to be a jailhouse and that the last person to be killed by hanging in Scotland apparently was housed there until they were hung. So that's a fun fact. You definitely should fact check that. But if you're into spooky stories, we have stories of missing limbs around here. We have stories of hangings. So yeah, lots of history around here. What we're going to do now is walk through a very, very narrow corridor towards the library, where we will finish our tour. It is a very narrow corridor, so just bear with us if we're struggling here. That's the charm of old campuses. Everything is quite, organically built. So you might find yourself really stuck here during peak times when a lot of students are going each way. Another nice thing about this campus is that there are people who live here all year round. This is not just a student city. So not all of these houses are actually owned by the university, and they are not just about teaching. So you will have people on campus even during the summer when students are away. You can also sort of get engaged with the local community if you are interested in campaigning or growing local vegetables, all of that. We have teams and societies that are sort of involved with the local community and are working on creating good relationships with our neighbors. So that is something that I'm definitely into, growing local vegetables. It is so satisfying getting the vegetables that were literally grown on our campus. And you can usually then get them for free, or you can buy a veg box. Really cool stuff. We are coming up to I don't know what it's called. I think it's called maybe the Library Plaza. Maybe that I'm making up a name that actually does not exist. But anyway, important area of the campus here coming up. We have 2 buildings that will be of interest to students of specifically natural sciences and engineering, maths, chemistry, physics, all of that jazz. So we have Meston building behind here. It's a huge building. There's a lot of labs. There is a computer lab as well. Despite the fact that it contains a lot of labs, it does also contain teaching buildings, and some of them you get assigned to even your first year. You have no idea where you're going for your philosophy class. You have to go past all these labs. It is a bit daunting, but don't worry, you will make your way through it. The buildings are sometimes quite confusing, so don't panic. Don't panic. It is a bit of a maze, but as I said, everyone's really friendly, so just ask people if you're lost. If you come and visit campus in the next few weeks as well, before you actually start term as well, feel free to reach out to us. We can organize a campus tour for you, or you can just ask people, do a self-guided campus tour, look around, get a feel for the campus. Obviously, it's much nicer if you have somebody who can sort of tell you about what the buildings are and stuff, but it's quite self-explanatory. So I invite you to come onto our campus and just have a look around if you have the time, if you're nearby or if you're coming up. This building is Fraser Noble, which is mostly the engineering building, but there's also the math department, as far as I know, and there are a few other departments scattered about. Again, this building will have labs, so some buildings are more based around philosophy and politics department. They will not have labs necessarily in them, but these will have the physical equipment that you need to conduct experiments. We're going to come up to the library and have a look inside. Another thing that if you're interested in studying sciences that might be interested in would be our science teaching hub, which has only recently opened, and it is lovely. You should definitely let us know if you are interested and you want to have a tour. You can have a look around and see the amazing equipment that we have there. It is genuinely flabbergasting how much money there is in that equipment. So if you're into sciences, give us a shout and we'll show you around. But let's talk about this building now. So this is the library, the Sir Duncan Rice Library. It was opened in 2012 by the Queen herself, the late Queen herself. And so it's been open since 2012, so 11 years now. But it's still very much constantly being updated. They have changed the layout of some areas recently to more reflect what students look for and how students use the space now. So it is really cool. The outside is meant to show you what granite looks like under microscope. Some people prefer to think of it as books on a bookshelf, which also works. And some people call it the rice cube these days, apparently. So if you ever hear rice cube, that's what we mean, the cubic building on campus. This is also the windiest spot on campus, so if you have an umbrella in hand, just watch out for this spot. We're going to have a look inside. If you are visiting campus by yourself, or you have done a tour and you want to nip in afterwards, you actually can go in anytime. You just need to show your ID at the reception and then they will let you go inside. So this is the money shot. This is where the library really shows off its amazing design. There are 7 floors. Each floor houses a different subject area. So for philosophy, you might go to one area. For archaeology, you might go to another. Geography, another. There's loads for everybody. And every floor also has different social areas. So if you are needing to work on a project with your friends, you can choose from multiple different areas. Some are more formal, will have like a presentation screen, they are soundproof. Some of them are more chill, like they're just sort of couches and around seats around a little table. What you can also tell from the fact that I'm talking out loud is that actually this area is quite relaxed. So we have a cafe down here, which is open quite late. And because of the big holes in the ground, you will see the noise from down here drifting up. That means that you can choose the level of background noise that you would like to hear. If you are somebody that needs to study in complete silence, you can go all the way up. There are even silent areas of the silent floors where you will have just complete silence. Or if you're somebody who likes to have background noise, you can study further down. First, second floor tend to be quite chill with the level of noise. During exam periods, you will actually find the library open 24/7 for 2 or 3 weeks, and it is always busy, it is always full. You have, if you can see the screen there, you have an explanation of how many people are in the library. So at the moment, there's only 2% occupation rate. During term time, you will find people sitting on the floor waiting for a seat because everybody loves to study here. It is such a lovely area, and the fact that there are so many different ways of studying as well. There are so many different seats and views. You can look over the sea if you want to. You can look over towards the airport if you want to. Both of those distract me, so I tend to sit in the middle. You can sit in the middle and just stare into the wall if you need to. There's a lot that somebody will find, everybody will find something that suits them the best. And as I said, if you are interested and you want to see the views of the campus, definitely come over when you're here for your campus tour and just pop by the reception and ask to be let up, and you can have a look around. Great, so I hope that this gives you a good idea of what the campus is like. The Old Aberdeen campus is genuinely a very lovely area, and I hope that you can come over and visit us in person if you're thinking about coming to Aberdeen. If not, there are more tours that give you more in-depth view of other areas or the medical campus or specific buildings. So have a look on our YouTube channels and our social media. But fingers crossed for you today. I hope everything went well, and give us a shout, give us a call if you need to talk to us about anything.